Alright, it's been a little while, but I am trying to get back into this, trying to remember where I left off. Pretty sure it was with a speaker. Like I just finished installing this guy, speaker, into the end of the chassis. I haven't glued it in place yet, so it's a little bit loose still, but that's okay. I can always glue it later. Again, this is where the soundboard is gonna go eventually once I'm ready for that. The kill key, recharge port, along with the trigger button over there, and battery all have been installed. Okay, so I think one of the last pieces is just to figure out how to connect the blade, you know? So I'm doing Neopixel. I'm going the Neopixel route. These are the Neopixels right here. This is the Neopixel strip. I have two of them because I'm gonna have to put them back to back once I take all of this like rubber protection coating off. So once those are stuck back to back, these wires will basically, I have to cut off these connectors, but I'm gonna have to wire and solder them onto this blade side PCB adapter, it's called. So this is just an easy way to wire Neopixel blades in a way that you could easily just remove and take off the blade from the lightsaber hilt, like I have with this Vader's Vault. Whoops. So you see there, that is the blade side PCB, like a little gold target. That way I don't have to permanently wire what's in here with what is in here. So in the hilt, I have little pins, okay, and that's what this is. Those are those pins. That's because this is the hilt side adapter. And so the pins in here push up against that gold target and make the same kinds of connections that you would get if you physically wired everything together. Obviously the benefits of doing it this way so that you could remove blades. If and when one breaks, or I don't know, if you want to put a different style Neopixel blade, I don't know. I'm gonna hold off on the blade side first because I already have a Neopixel blade. So my thinking is I'm gonna wire the hilt side adapter into the chassis and then use that blade, which Vader's Vault made themselves, and use it as a test to test if like all of this is working. And then I will go ahead and make my own blade. But since I have it, why not? I bought a couple things from the custom saber shop. First of all, this hilt side adapter piece, I bought it with the pins, these squishy things, pre-soldered on to the adapter, because you could also buy just this disc, the adapter, with the pins separate, and you would have to solder them yourself. I just thought, like, why bother? It just seems like, why would you sell that without the pins already soldered, right? So I just paid the extra few dollars it took to like have it pre-soldered for me, but I still have to solder these 5 pads up here. All 5 of those pads need to have wires. So like the rest of this chassis, it was very thoughtfully designed. This hilt side adapter fits perfectly right there, pretty much held in place just on its own. So I'm gonna wire that and then feed the wires through, and those wires are gonna feed through here and then hook up to the board. All right. Oh, by the way, I've got this shirt from my little sister because she's the best. Thank you, Louisa. I cut 5 wires, twice as long as I should technically need. I just wanted to make damn sure I had some extra space there in case I made mistakes, which I probably will. So I cut all these to the same length, and then I stripped them, and now I'm going to tin them and do these all at once. Efficiency. All of these have been pre-tinned and they just need to be soldered onto this. That's where the data is going. I think I also have to pre-tin those pads too, right? fuck? Alright, I think we got one. I just realized that the tutorial I'm following for the positive ends, they're using red wires instead of black. I'm just gonna redo this. I did that. I'm gonna feed these wires through here. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you're supposed to go through there. Not gonna do that yet. That is only part of the puzzle though, because I also need to splice some of these together. Okay, so I found this image online. It's a wiring guide for the Crystal Focus 10 if you are going the Neopixel route. So here are the Neopixel strips. This is how you wire it up to the blade side PCB adapter, which is that gold target thing. But like I said before, I already have a fully built Neopixel blade, so I'm just going to use that for testing. So all of this has already been done for me for the time being until I build my own blade. Therefore, I am focusing today on number 11 here, the hilt side PCB adapter, which is this thing with the springs. And then here is how that's wired. So these blue wires represent the negatives, the red represent the positives, and the green represents the data. The data is pretty straightforward. It's just one green wire going to a single pad. The positives spliced together, and then if we follow this red, it goes to this data pad, which is being shared by the positive end of the recharge port, which is already spliced with the positive end of the lithium battery. This is the whole thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed yet, but this is an entire thing. Okay, so to make things a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to place the soundboard where it's eventually going to end up. These two speaker cables need to be connected to these two things, and this has to be faced down like that. Green data line, come over here. Where are you going again? On that pad right here. So that is how long the green needs to be. All three of these reds will eventually converge onto that one pad right there. I have a feeling I'm gonna run out of a lot of space down here, so I think it would be wise to splice these together, not down around here, but over here, because there's still like a lot of space in this area that I don't think I'm gonna be using for anything else because I'm nearing the end here. And that way I only have to feed one of these down this entire way. I'm wondering, since the positive from the battery and the positive from the Neopixel converge on that one pad, can I just splice these together earlier on, like around here, while there's still room down there? Let's do that right there. I made a little gap in there. Maybe I could cut this and join up like that. Makes sense to me. Okay, so I looked at the diagrams again and read a little bit of the manual. It said from this PCB connector you can splice two 24 gauge wires, which is what these both are, or one 22 gauge wire. I thought that if I just attached one 24 to the other 24 and then just had one 24 like coming out of it, that would be fine. Not so sure anymore, so I got a 22 gauge. I'm gonna connect these two 24s to the single 22, and then I'm gonna be able to sleep at night. I'm also debating, because the positive from the battery and the recharge port, this is power, that also has to go to the exact same pad. So these two wires and this wire that I'm holding now all have to converge onto there. Can I just splice all three of these together into a single 22? Wiring guidelines. Power wires, 22 gauge or 24 gauge, depending on the power bill. Okay, the two whites definitely have to run all the way through. Data has to run all the way through. So these wires are fine. These two need to converge with this on a single data pad. We have a plan. Now can we execute? Let the frustration begin, folks. The A. Shit. How the fuck is that gonna help me? Alright, so here we basically have a 24, a 24, and a 20 gauge wire all converging into one 22 gauge wire. Is there any way to make that prettier? That looks god awful. So bad. I hate that. It's a hell of a joint. And I don't mean that in the good way. God, that's so ugly. Oh, hello. Not expect you to go that far. That actually doesn't look half bad. Okay, that looks like it was done on purpose. Now, hopefully, I didn't misassume things and this actually works. I always forget something. There we go. Why not more light, right? Really? Oh my god. Okay, I think the speaker is good. Was I not recording that the whole time? God damn it.